Good morning. I'm back in the US after being in Italy for 3 months. So, it's a joy to be here, back in familiar territory. And I just wanted to share with you a few experiences, and I'll actually make these very, very short, but do a number of them. So they're easy to watch and follow. One of the things I realized is that when I was in Italy, and the amount of texting now and younger people on their different devices as to the many, many times that I had gone before throughout my life since I was 18 years old. And now it's not like people aren't communing in the same way. It's becoming more and more like the US. And even when my son was taking me to the airport, I noticed at a bus stop that we passed, there was about 15 people, anywhere from a very young teen to older people, like 50s, 60s, 70s. And every single one of them was on a device at the bus stop. I saw that on the plane, where everybody's on those little tiny, watching these teeny little screens on the seat in front of them, movie after movie after movie. And these things are right in your face. Like, I had the privilege on the way over of being in premium class. On the way back, I wasn't able to get that. And, the seats are already close. And when somebody's most of the people had their chairs back. I was fortunate that the guy that was in front of me actually moved over to an empty middle, because he had the consciousness to realize that he was practically in my lap when he put his seat back. So that gave me a little bit of distance for the screen, but most people didn't. It was right on top of them. And even then I couldn't watch for more than a few minutes. I'd watch a flight pattern or something. And it was interesting to think back about when the book, The Celestine Prophecy, came out. What was that, 20 years ago? Or 15 years ago, I'm not sure. I didn't look it up. But I just remember what was happening in a lot of so-called spiritual areas, like going into Ashland, Oregon, or, Sedona, or wherever it was. There was a real alertness to being in that present moment. Because in the book, what it talks about is that everyone we come in contact with has a message for us in some way. Maybe it's extremely subtle. Maybe they're giving us a healing and we're giving them something else and hopefully they can clear it. Maybe there is an actual contact, but what we're starting to understand is that more and more communication is happening telepathically, just energy-wise. And that's why my book called The Awakening Ones is so important right now, to understand the transformation of what's happening on the planet. This is why I'm going to be much more into my creating sacred space again, which doing workshops in my design, my landscape, interior furniture, sound vibration, crystal bowls, all of these things that are energy-based and how they can support us right now in this really profound time of shift, unlike I've seen ever before. And I've been on the planet for a long time. Okay, I'm going to be 65 on August 4th. And it's what a journey it's been to watch. And we have always think we came in the cusp of some shift. And there definitely were, but not like this. And not with so many people I know saying the same thing verbatim, the need to get back to roots, their soul group, their family group, whatever it is, it's this coming back to get land and homes together, grow crops, water, whatever it is. There's this absolute drive for most spiritual, and I don't like the word spiritual even, because it's another label, like, religious label. So those that are more in tune to really taking responsibility for their own stuff, right? To realize that everything out there in the future is an illusion, that everything in this present moment is really what we want to focus on, to see what's happening inside of us. So somebody comes to me or I see something and it triggers me, immediately go in. Why did I invite this into my world? What is it that I was to learn? What was it supposed to teach me? It's not about the other person. It's not about our partner, our friend, our not friend, the government. It's none of that. It's looking at what that triggers and bringing it so close to home that we're owning it. Like writing down, what are the things that really piss me off about this person or this tragedy? And then go in, and this is where the deep inner work, that's where I try to help people go in and really come into the direct communication with that wounded child. It could be another lifetime, but still go back to that earliest point of childhood, and let's feel those feelings. Let's dive into them. Let's heal them. Let's love them so they're transmitted, muted into the world. And therefore, not only do we start drawing different realities, but we're extremely tolerant and accepting of every reality and person out there, because we know that the creator, the divine creator, which is consciousness, created us to have the experience. So none of us is actually alone. None of us is actually separate. We are all part of the creator. And when people say, oh, we were made in the image of God, yes, everything was. You know, when people try to separate one more time that, oh, humans, we were not aliens, not, you know, a rock, not a tree. No, get over this ego thing about thinking, you know, it's this human form that we see, and it's only the people on Earth, planet Earth, God, you know, we're made in the image of God. Well, everything is in the image of God. A mountain, a rock, like I said, an insect, a bird, whatever it is, because it's God creating through us an extension of itself to expand, to witness, to have the experience. So let me go back to the Celestine prophecy, why I brought that up. This is now a time where we're coming more and more in tune with that our energetic divine self, and claiming back all the parts. Actually, Laura Eisenhower said that to me in a reading she did for me, and she said, you know, it's time that I reclaim all of the aspects of myself. It's like soul retrieval. And I'm thinking, I didn't think I was attached to like my former husbands or anything. I thought that was all clean cut. And what she informed me was, well, you have to understand, they're still holding on to you in some way. And so because of that, it's debilitating for me. So it's always like going in and clearing this energy that even somebody else is attached to. And then I feel bad because maybe, you know, I'm spiritual or whatever that word is. And I could have done it in a kinder way when I left, or I could have maybe done this to make them feel better about themselves. But the moment we say, make them feel better, no. They had to do their own inner work. So I'm not responsible. I'm not the one that, you know, needs to hold on to any guilt about maybe what I could have done differently. So it's like, no, I showed up the best I could in every moment of those relationships, even if I wasn't who I would be now, but then I wouldn't attract them now. So the lessons were for the two of us. The lessons were for the growth of consciousness. And so the Celestine prophecy, why I got it, you know, the only thing I'm on anymore is YouTube, rarely, as you can tell, and Instagram once in a while, because I realized, number one, people aren't going on Instagram and actually finding my book or going to my design, website to understand sacred space and what I could do for them. It's just like this game of how many likes they could get or how many this they can get. And I'm not a game player. I'm not going to, pay to market myself. It's just not me. It's part of what's happening is just another form of prostitution for me. I want to be in this present moment. I want to see what shows up for me in this moment and not be on a device where I totally miss the incredible relationships by me. And in the Celestine prophecy, for those of you that never read it, I remember being in Ashland and just being totally watching the energy and the connections I made with people. Because we all recognized that in that present moment, we were meant to be together, right? There was something we had to share. It just, if it even was a smile, just our heart open. But I made so many incredible contacts and connections when I was in that mode, or standing at a BART station because I was going somewhere, or a train station, and not having a device, and the people around me not having devices, and the connections I made, even when I came back from up north in Italy and got off of the train in Assisi. If I had been on my device, I wouldn't have noticed this woman. And something said, you either know her or need to know her. And so I went up to her and I said, da 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 da. And she goes, oh my God, I was thinking about that with you, but I didn't know that I should say anything. And then we connected. She showed me a picture of the people that she knows. And I'm going, oh my God, I know those people. So, and she said, I invite you to come sometime and come be with us and blah, blah, blah. And so it's really fascinating in this world of devices where it's supposed to connect us with each other. Some parts are really good, right? I mean, I wouldn't have met my lovely friend Sandra in San Diego if it wasn't for Instagram. Okay. So who I'm going to go see in a couple of weeks. Now, the thing is, so I'm not saying it's bad. I'm saying it's like anything. A glass of wine at dinner once in a while is lovely. A glass of wine when you think you need it every night is addictive. When you think you need it 3 times a day, no, that's a problem. That's escapism. Unless it's really part of your culture or something, but really it's so many of those things are numbing, and that can be computers, that can be any kind of technology, that can be anything we're doing. I mean, you can be addicted to yoga and have to go all the time because you think whatever. It's the balance, but it's connecting. Why am I here in this moment? Why? Who has what to share? What am I supposed to see that's right here in this moment? And if it's only to experience a state of stillness, a state of contentment, and yeah, there's some financial things that I should be extremely worried about. I realized when I had all the money I could want and the homes and all that, there was all these fears and there was all this, and it's about loss and the future and what da-da-da-da-da. This whole different set of things. And yes, so I did lose my finances, but I gained something far greater. And that's being able to be peaceful in the moment, knowing this is the only time I can actually know how to respond to something. Like if I worry about something, I'm projecting a false future or stressing myself out. So again, I've missed the opportunity on what it's trying to show me, right? What is the message in this moment? Because it really has nothing to do with where my finances are. It's the clarity. What's this trying to show me? What fear was there? What belief that needs to be healed? It's what Laura said, reclaiming me, soul retrieval, all the parts of me that have felt guilty because I didn't say the kind thing to that person, or I didn't do this for that person. And yet that's what my life has been, giving, 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 giving. And now it's time to give to me. So pay attention in this moment and know it is perfection. And if I come to the point where I can't pay my bills, guess what? In that moment, I'm going to know if I can or I can't. And then I will know how to deal with it. So that's everything in life. And I just feel like right now, I got such clarity in when I was in Italy. It was like a reboot, I called it. I told my son I have to come to reboot because I'm all over the place. There's so many things I'm fantastic at. Now, how do all these modalities come together? How do I bring them to the world? And how does it financially support me? Because yes, it's great to have all the other things, the groundedness within myself, the self-love for myself, the all these modalities that I'm incredible at, the energy work, all the things I've done. But now how do I make it work in this world and that it actually financially supports me? Well, that's what this time feels like. And that's what feels like it's coming together because again, it's being in this present moment and allowing life to show you what consciousness wants to experience through me, through you. Okay, that's it. Sending love. Put the device down once in a while. See who's standing next to you that you could have a great conversation. I don't have great conversations on planes anymore. I used to meet pilots, teachers, professors. I met a vice president. I met a president of a huge corporation because we weren't on our devices. And it was so lovely to have those connections. But we've lost that in this world, and we need to regain it. Much love. Mwah. End meeting.